When I first heard of Free Iwatobi Swim Club in 2014, it was pitched to me as a fan service show, but for girls. And if you're unaware, that's kinda rare in anime. So immediately I was taken with the idea of the show, though you couldn't tell with how long it took me to watch it. It only took me 4 years. But when I did watch this supposed fan service show, but for girls, I ran into something interesting. Now, for those who didn't see my ace representation video where I basically outed myself as asexual, hey, I'm ace. And I think this gave me an interesting experience watching this supposedly fan service show. And to be fair, I completely understand why it got the label. There's no lack of abundance of beautiful boys with beautiful bodies and often prancing around half naked. And the best part is that all this wonderful skin exposure have in story reasons. For one, most of the male characters we encounter are swimmers. And the idea of a competitive swimmer is to not have a whole bunch of conservative clothing while they're racing. And for Haru, even though in the first season he seems to randomly just strip out of nowhere, the reason he does it is very obvious and explained by the story. Haru loves the water and he'll take any chance he gets to be in it. But even with all these beautiful bodies on parade, there was a disconnect for me. Unlike someone like Go, who was mesmerized by the toned muscles and magnificent sights in front of her, when I looked at these well-animated boys, that's essentially all I saw. Beautiful boys. I could appreciate the aesthetics of their physicality. Hell, I even prefer certain body types over others, but I didn't feel anything for it. Basically what I'm saying is there was no sexual attraction at all. My reaction to the art on display was basically looking at a painting in a gallery that you really like. Huh. That's really nice. I'm glad this exists. And when I imagine being around the boys IRL, I don't think of them like in a sexual way, like I'd want to do sexually romantic things with them. If anything, I just want to be their friend. Just be around this aesthetic that I appreciate. And I kind of have the same reaction with traditionally fan servicey shows. Hell, the only reason why I sometimes get slightly uncomfortable with them is because of societal taboo. I was taught that female sex traits and male genitals are very, sensitive sights, and so for me, it's eternally shocking to see something like that depicted in media. But that's not to say that it's a bad thing and that fan service should not exist. It's just how, unfortunately, I was conditioned. And I just find this really interesting. As a biromantic asexual, this show, compared to others, has allowed me to explore more about who I am as an ace person and why certain sights make me react a certain way. It's also a bit of a reminder to me that my experience seeing beautiful people is not quite the same as those who are not asexual. It's just one of those differences in perspective that don't really come up unless you're in a particular circumstance like this one. Now, while I'm on the topic of the show, I do want to point out that Free Iwatobi Swim Club is wonderful, has a great story. Both the second and first season are well worth the watch, second season being my favorite so far. And for those of you who do appreciate the male form, it's also extremely well animated, like a cute girl show would be. And it also makes you rather interested in swimming. Hell, it's made me really interested in the sport right now, even though I can't swim. And if you've seen the show, please comment about your thoughts on the fan service and how it affected you. I know it's the YouTube thing to say, like, comment, and subscribe, but I'm legit curious. Again, I'm aware that there are experiences that I just don't have as an asexual person, so I'm curious to do some research. Also, I now have a MyAnimeList account showing most of the anime and manga that I've consumed over the years. A lot of the things I've listed, I've not given ratings because, well, it's been years since I've read or watched a lot of them. So if that's your thing, feel free to check it out. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and if you want to talk to me about Degrassi, Steven Universe, musicals, and I guess anime now, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. You can find me at NotAVampyre, and just be aware it might take me a little while to respond. Thank you very much again, and until next time.